Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nemeka Onyeka Obiariri. Like I said, you cannot proffer solutions, credible and sustainable solutions to any problem without first of all carrying out proper diagnostics and understanding the root cause of the problem to be able to apply very sustainable and durable and curative measures, panaceas to the problem. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, as of today, has limited options available to it to be able to stabilize the FX market. You know, when some of us patriots, when we talk from the place of passion, from the place of knowledge, and place of sincerity. See, this country belongs to each and every one of us. Nigeria has the potential to become one of the top 10 biggest economies in the world in the next 10 years if we pull the right blocks, do the right things, execute the right systemic, constitutional, physical, and massive institutional reforms that will create prosperity for a majority of us. Yemi Cardoso, the CBN governor, as right as he may be in some of the steps he has taken, when I mean right, those are the only options available to him. It's not as if they are the best options, and it's not as if the options, see, we have facing us myriads of problems that have contributed to the problems that we have in Nigeria today. We have inflation, spiraling inflation. Inflation in Nigeria is almost at over 100%. Forget the MB that tells you that our inflation rate is 29%. Is way below, above that. Now, what are the causes of those inflation rates? We have food inflation that is so high. According to MBS, that's 7.7%. It is more than that. Go to the market and you'll confirm this. Food inflation because we cannot produce enough of what we consume here. That we cannot produce does not mean that we do not have enough land, we do not have enough rainfall or sunshine, we do not have the human capital to produce, consume whatever, have at least food security and sustainability and the sufficiency of at least 95%. And even able to export nothing less than $100 billion worth of goods and services. They were not exporting it, we are not earning dollar revenue from it because of insecurity, because of non-collaborative, non-integrative approach amongst the three tiers of government. That is beyond Yemi Cardoso's brief. As of today, insecurity, inflation rates, unproductivity, oil thefts, inefficiencies in the public sector are the reasons why we are where we are today. By the way, even the liquidity that is being mopped up by Yemi Cardoso, how did we even incur? How did we have such massive money supply into the economy? Money supply that was not tied to any productive activities. Money supply that was linked to corruption and all manner of shenanigans across the three tiers of government. As of today, the only instrument available to him, which he's using and which is of course hurting the economy, is to try as much as possible to stop and checkmate the forex volatility. There are different sources of dollar supply available to him, but he does not control those dollar supply sources. Be the major forex earner for Nigeria, crude oil supply is not controlled by Yemi Cardoso. We can do output of about 2.5 million barrels a day, crude oil and condensate, just like we had in 2010 and 2011. That is not Yemi Cardoso's brief. It is the brief of Mr. President and those in the Petroleum Ministry and NNPC. I just read a report from Premium Times of how we lost about $10 billion over the last 8 months on oil thefts and inefficiencies. That is $10 billion that will have come into the inflation accounts. Now, let me not digress. How did we even have so much liquidity in the system? CBN under Buhari printed 23 trillion naira plus interest of 7 trillion naira. They also did interventions that are mostly shrouded in corruption and opacity of about 10 trillion naira. We had the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry and all manner of interventions that were shrouded in corruption. We heard of a case of about 5.9 billion that was allegedly spent to train 16,000 youths on how to repair telephone at a cost of 334,000 naira per person. Till today, we do not have a list of those that were trained or where their shops are. Most of the monies that were printed, most of the interventions, over 40 trillion, entered into this economy without being tied to any productive activity. It is the liquidity that the CBN is mopping up. It is what Yemi Cardoso is trying to do. It's an elixir. It has limited options. 90% of the problems are on the physical side. And until we tackle that physical side, some of us who are rejoicing and shouting and screaming, oh, dollar that was at 199, they shot it up to 1,900, and now it's coming down. People are rejoicing. Let me tell you, the dollar had no reason, the naira exchange to that exchange had no reason to be more than 199 naira to $1 if we had done the right thing. We had more inflows of dollar into the economy than outflows through legitimate transactions. $635 billion against $451 billion outflow. If the criminality and the leakages that happened under the Buhari era had been totally contained, we wouldn't be where we are today. And again, the other, when this government came into place and they floated the naira, we had excess naira accruing to the federation account because we moved the official exchange rate from 460 to 750. When the monies were coming, we warned them, don't release all this naira to the governors and those at the local government, even at the federal level. We advocated and advised them on how they can save up 50% of this excess naira windfall. Now, excess naira windfall, not tied to any productive activity. Excess naira windfall because the naira was devalued. They will not list it. They released most of these monies to these governors, to these local government chairmen, and to the MDAs. And what happened? So much liquidity not tied to any productivity. We know what happens in this economy. They will collect those dollars, award road contracts at 300% inflated cost, use the excess creamed out monies to pursue the dollar. So basically, the challenges we are facing are fundamental. Whatever Yemi Cardoso and CBN are doing now are based on the limited options available to them. But for us to build an economy that is prosperous, an economy that puts the 20 million out of school kids back to school, an economy that sorts out the 1 and 3 multidimensional poor Nigerians, an economy that puts the 197 million Nigerians who are living under poverty based on the World Bank threshold of $2.15 a day income, we need to tackle the fundamental and foundational issues. We need to ramp up crude oil output 2.5 million barrels a day. We need to stop the oil theft that have led to $10 billion loss over the last 8 months. We need to restructure the institutional framework of Nigeria. We need the federal government, as a matter of honesty and urgency, to divest 60% of their shareholdings from NNPC to make it as efficient as the Petrobras and as the Aramcos of this world. Sell down 60%. That will unlock about $30 to $40 billion into the federation account, and let deep-pocketed private sector investors who are technically savvy buy up those shares, and then bring in efficiency and transparency and accountability to the NNPC operations without political interferences. Petrobras is owned 28.5% by the Brazilian government. Other investors own the rest. Petrobras, that was founded in 1970 after the Nigerian National Oil Corporation, today has assets worth $174 billion. Last year, they declared profit of $37 billion, revenue of $121 billion. NNPC, that is older, has an asset of just $60 billion. If we do this, you will see efficiency. Protect our oil and gas assets. When you bring in private investors into this, they will not allow all these shenanigans that go in the appointment of the board, management and recruitment into some of the needs. It will not happen. Look at the Nigerian liquefied natural gas, how efficiently run and transparently run it is. And that is how the NNPC Limited will become if we do the right things. We need to provide security for Nigerians to go into productive works. And how do we provide security? The current security architecture of Nigeria is not working. Under Buhari, we spent $27 billion. Yet, insecurity moved from the northeast to every part of Nigeria because the current security architecture of Nigeria is not working and will not work. And how do we uniquely create a security arrangement that can protect Nigerians, protect their lives, protect their properties, and allow them to unleash their productive potentials? Get the army. Mr. President, this is to you. You are the father of the nation. Do the right things. History beckons. Recruit 100 youths from every electoral ward. We have 8,809 electoral wards. 100 youths from every electoral ward will give us 800,000 new military men. You can call them military rangers, foot soldiers, whatever name. Let the military high command train them. Post them back to their communities. Every community knows the good, the bad, and ugly. Let the community people, the traditional rulers, the church, the mosques choose and select those who are honest sons and daughters, not political talks picked by political office holders. These people will be trained, equip them with sophisticated weapons, provide 4 armored personnel carriers in every local government area, produced by NOC, proffers or not. Let them work with these instruments. Provide them with drones. Provide them with communication gadgets. I will tell you, in 6 months, they will enter the bushes. They will enter the walkways. They will enter everywhere. They will flush out the bandits, the unknown government, the Fula militia, the terrorist herdsmen, the unknown government in the southeast. They will flush them out. Lawful terror deters and eliminates unlawful terror. When we clean out every inch of Nigeria, just like we had in the early 60s, of insecurity, Nigerians will go to work. There is no Nigerian who has his limbs and the sides intact that cannot make at least contribute 5,000 naira into this economy every day. Nigerians are resilient. Nigerians are hardworking. So when some of us talk, we talk from a place of patriotism. Elections are over. Politics is not what we should be thinking about now. 2027 is still far away. Every one of us must contribute to nation building. Citizens advocacy requires that we will contribute our quota to national building selflessly. Think about what you can do for Nigeria and not what Nigeria can do for you. That should be the responsibility of every one of us. Taking ethno-religious leaning camps and rah-rah-rahness will not solve our problems. The real patriots are those who proffer solutions. In the midst of 3 or 4 wise councils, wisdom are established. We know what is happening and we know the solutions. CBN governor is trying his best, but his best is destroying this economy because he has no other options. He's not the one that controls the crude oil. He's not the one that determines how much the governors collect and lower allocation. He's not the one that determines how much is shared from the federation account. He's not the one that determines how productivity in the real sector, the agro value chain that can give us $100 billion annually, while meeting up our domestic consumption, are championed. These are the responsibilities of the presidency, the governors, and local government chairmen. And those on the physical side who control 90% of the problems should provide solutions from their own end. And that is the truth. What we have today are temporary elixirs and opiates. Hot monies are coming in. Naira is stabilizing down to 1,300. It may even get to 900 naira over a short run. But that is not a long-term sustainable arrangement. Until we shore up the supply side of the naira, until we provide of the dollar, until we provide sustainable liquidity. Let me tell you, honest economic activities in Nigeria cannot consume anything more than $60 billion annually. And we can actually generate nothing less than $200 billion into this economy from the oil and non-oil sector. When we have outflows, if we have import bill of $60-80 billion, legitimate transactions, not linked to corruption, economic boosting transactions, and we will have inflows based on diaspora remittances, foreign direct investment, diaspora investments, and even export of goods and services, Naira will improve drastically against the dollar. It's a simple law of demand and supply. In every market it applies. The fundamentals must be very, very strong to be able to build a prosperous economy that is good and beneficial to a majority of us. Let us do the right thing and let God take the glory. Thank you.